Is this mic on? Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4.
This is a sound check. Brace yourself, cause we're coming with another one. Metal moves, singing speakers hotter than the sun. Dropping new bands that you never heard before. Seeing music in and we'll play it all around the world. Lots of haters talking trash, they don't like your shout. Grab a talker, join the party, and we'll shut them down. Independent radio is the future now. Turn it up, tell a friend. It's showtime.
It is Soundcheck. My name is Moose, coming to you from the Moose Pit here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. How you doing today, tonight, whenever you're listening, wherever you're catching us from on iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or one of several radio stations across the globe, all the way to Italy and France and all the hell over the place. So what we do here, I have a weekly podcast called Soundcheck where we listen to metal songs and I talk about them. This is not a regular sound check show. This is a show called Soundcheked, which is where an artist sends me their entire album, and I give it a full blow-by-blow review, track by track. I go through the tones, the production, the movements, the emotion, all that stuff. This is a really in-depth kind of a deal, and I'm kind of stoked today because I get to do a guitar record. I think, I'm not even 100% sure, but I think this is a full instrumental record. And if you guys know me at all, you know that I do the guitarted episodes. I love guitars. I've been playing guitar since I was 9 years old. I love everything about it. I like the shape. I like the sound. I like the look. I'm just a guitar nut. And I can love and hate a song based on the guitar track alone. So I get excited when I get the opportunity to really focus in on the guitar, which I always do. No matter what I'm listening to, I'm listening for the guitar. But I don't know who Jason Aaron Wood is. Never heard of him. But he is somebody who saw the opportunity to get sound checked and sent in his record. I haven't listened to any of it. And that's the true secret to doing a sound check show is I have no clue what I'm in for. This could be a jazz, psychobilly, record. I have no clue. From the looks of the album cover, it looks pretty metal, and he looks like a metal kind of dude. So I'm hoping that it's metal. But listen, the fact is, that's one of the important things about doing this show. I don't really care what kind of music it is. I care about the fact that you want my opinion on it, and that's what I do, man. I listen to, and you can ask any of the bands that have done this. I kind of go into this trying to pick out where the history of what you're trying to do came from, how you try to create an ambience with your sound and your production, the story of the record. I really try to get into it. I don't just want to be that person that you play your music to and you're like, yeah, that's pretty good, man, right on, and then they're gone. I want to go, oh, wait a second here. Let's talk about that drum trigger. How did you get the bass tone in this record? And I also am a big believer in records having a flow. And that is a consistent path that you can stay on through the whole record. Whether it be a bunch of highs, a bunch of lows, or in the middle, I'd like to get into the feeling and the emotion of the record, which is fun to me. It's good because you're going to have a lot of people listen to your record, and most of them are going to give you a high five and tell you how much you're awesome. I'm just going to tell you the truth. And if it's terrible, I'm going to tell you that it's terrible. If it's great, I'm going to tell you that it's great. And if there's a way that I think I can make it better, I'm going to give you my advice. Here's an idea. Let's try this on your cut. So it should be enjoyable for you and your fans and your family and just general people who are into music. Hopefully they listen to this and have a good time with it. and I'm stoked. Jason Aaron Wood. Now listen, if you guys listen to Soundcheck, you know that I'm completely against people who use their names. That's like, you should totally name yourself something. Give yourself a stage name, whatever it is, six string slinger. I don't know, whatever you want to call yourself. The plunger. It doesn't matter. Whatever. So I have to say, just right off the bat, it's kind of a strike one. It's you used your own name, which, listen, is way more common in the instrumental world than it is. But it weirds me out when a band is called Mike Thomas. Mike Thomas, who's everybody else? You know what I mean? So this is Jason's record. So he's using his name, and he wants to get that name out there into the watch me kick your ass on my guitar world. And that's cool. So I'll let it slide this time. So, yeah, man, I'm really excited to get into this Jason Aaron Wood record and find out what kind of stuff we got waiting on us. Now, listen, I guess that is instrumental, but I did notice that one of the tracks was labeled instrumental. So this dude may be singing the whole time. I'm not sure yet, so we're going to find out. And, that brings a whole new bag of tricks into the review if there's vocals and... Yeah, it's a whole different game, man. So we're going to find out right here on Soundcheck. Listen, if you want to have your music sound checked, just get a hold of me, moose@themetalmoose.com, and we'll set you up for a sound check of your record. And yeah, we'll have a lot of fun. Make sure and catch Soundcheck on iTunes, on YouTube, iHeartRadio, and more. It's a weekly podcast. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And until then, let's get into some Jason Aaron Wood with the opening cut.
You're listening to Soundcheck with the Moose. Rocks, Texas.
I will tell you, Jason, that it's a good sign in your favor that I just went from curious to wicked excited. I feel a whole lot of Dan Swano, some Catatonia, Moon Sorrow, Night Rage, kind of, yeah, that is my favorite jam. Love it. Super emotional. Vocal, the way the stylings were done, very Opeth-esque. Porcupine Tree, even Steven Wilson reminiscence going on in there. First initial reaction was just the excitement of, oh, sweet. This isn't just, I'm going to rip your head off shred record. There's going to be some emotion going on here. I love that. It's a little muddy. I don't know if it's overly produced. I don't know if it's just gained and peaked out. There's a little mud, especially with that down tune, as your rhythm is a little muddy. As a matter of fact, it sucks kind of because you can't even, to me, I can't differentiate the bass from the rhythm guitar line, and I think that a bass in this kind of music could really, really do some wonderful movements, and maybe we'll figure that out through the rest of the record. But so far, man, Jason Aaron Wood, a sight for sore ears, really good. This kicks ass, and I don't know if you're in a band or not, but you need to, yeah, what you're doing is good. So we got a long way to go. This may end up being an absolute hunk of crap, but from first impression of that first tune, I'm all damn ears. I don't do taco by taco ratings on this, but I would give that a 4.5 taco straight off the bat. Wow, who the hell is this guy? Let me hear more. That's the first thing that comes out of my brain. This is so in my ballpark. So we're going to get into more Jason Aaron Wood right here on Soundcheked from the Moose Pit in Oklahoma City. Hope you're having a good time. This is going to be fun. So just kick your feet up and crack one open, light a bowl, whatever you do. Let's do this.
Where you get rated in tacos, only on Soundcheck.
The Moose rocks Oklahoma.
Man, I think I just cried a little bit. It's so far, I'm just stupefied. I almost had lost hope that we had lost this kind of musical prowess out there. And it really starts a long time ago. You could go way, way back to the early Dan Swano days. And even, believe it or not, a lot of people won't make this connection, but even Peter Totrigan, go back way into the get away from hypocrisy and listen to Pain a little bit. But Dan Swano is the perfect example because Dan is, and before Dan, it was, the Moody Blues. It was Led Zeppelin. It was ELO and these bands a band that I really like a lot that not a bunch of people in America have heard of, called Bebop Deluxe. And you can go back and find these people that took the interest of making heavier music into an emotional game. I think Brave Murder Day by Catatonia is my favorite metal release of all time. It's like The Cure does metal. It's so emotional. And it also, this is well thought out. This isn't three chord progressions and it's intelligence, and it makes you think and it takes you. So this is a huge deal. I feel like a little fanboy because I'm only a couple tracks in and I'm like, this is my new favorite record. This is exactly the kind of stuff that I wish there was more of. The saddest thing about this is the lack of appreciation for it. People will pick a damn Buck Cherry song over a Catatonia song, and that blows my mind. So there are people out there, and you could also, if you guys want to move into the here and now, artists that are still doing things like this, with Devin Townsend, from Strapping Young Lad, making this music that is a journey, and that is magic. That is more magic than writing a hit. It is, man, because listen, a lot of people out there can write a hit. Remember the boy bands? They were all put together by a bunch of guys in suits and ties, and hey, so yeah, man, I'm super duper impressed with this so far. So if you're listening and you're somebody who's into music that has emotion and music into it, this is what you need to be listening to. This is something that's going to go into your collection as one of those. I have time to close my eyes and listen and go somewhere with this music. And that's a bigger deal than listening to, a lot of this cut and paste kind of candy crap that's out there. So listen, don't get me wrong. I love some candy coated crap. I do. I've liked Blink-182 for a long time. Sorry. It's just the truth. I like what they do. But this is where it really hits home. I can't wait to hear the next one. I'm out of my damn mind. This is so good. We'll get to the next track right now. Hero's Flight, Jason Aaron Wood.
Want to know if you suck? Hey, you suck. Send your music to Soundcheck.
If
New York.
There have been a couple times in my musical history as an adult, I guess, actually, even when I was younger, that when I listened to something, I literally said to myself, I don't know what happened to this person, but I'm oh so sorry for you. Like the first time I heard the Smiths, the first time I heard Dashboard Confessional, first time I heard The Cure, I was just like, oh my God, who broke these people? You know what I mean? It was just so disconnected from the smiles and happy world. And I was just like, this is so sad. And another person that I listened to that, believe this is so completely off of the radar from what we're doing now, but the very first time I heard Kelly Clarkson sing, I was like, oh my God, I believe what she's singing. I don't doubt for a second that there is 100% genuine angst and sorrow going on in what I hear. And that to me is almost the number one quality of a good record. Do I believe what's happening right now? When I listen to Van Halen, do I believe that they're chugging Jack Daniels and prostitutes and cocaine? Yes. Yes, I do. And it's good time American rock and roll. When I listen to Typo Negative, do I feel like that Pete Steele probably had sex with dead people? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, he is most definitely a vampire. When I listen to Slayer, do I feel like that I'm going to hell? Yes. All good things. When I listen to Jason Aaron Wood's record, I feel like he's broken. I don't know what it is. It was a loss of a loved one. If a girlfriend broke up with him, I don't know. Somebody ripped the head off of his favorite stuffed animal. I don't know, but somewhere there's some pain. There's some brokenness in there. And this is one of those kinds of things where people kind of make fun of the whole, it's emo and God, we can't have that because I have a Motorhead patch on my vest. Okay, yeah, right. You don't have emotions. I'm sorry. Don't let me bother you with this, but there's a whole lot of people out there who like this, and I've always called this gray music. It's just gray. There's no color. It's dim. It's dingy, and it's a ride into a world that a lot of people aren't familiar with because they're too busy, spray painting faces and smiles on their pictures for Instagram. It's thoughtful, it's intelligent, and I love it so far. We're only up to song number 4. I'm ready to, I want to sign this guy, even though I don't have a label. But if I did, he would definitely be on it. Identify. Interesting. How ironic. Here we go.
Find Soundcheck on iTunes, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and in your local taco truck.
Okay, so I think that we've already established that I'm a fan of what's going on here, and so now little things come in like, what do you brand this music at? Is it doom? You know, is it death metal? Which I think was one of the greatest combinations of all time. When you had a hard time figuring out whether it was doom or death metal. You know who does a really good job with that was the last Faceless record. I mean, it's just like brutal tech death, and then it turns into these wicked instrumental things and orchestras. And of course, you know, we all know Opeth was so good at that. Same with Dan Swano stuff. And anyway, so I would go ahead and call it a doom kind of thing. The one thing that I'm a little disappointed with so far, and it's such a tiny detail, there are tiny details of this that bother me as a producer kind of person other than just a fan, because your normal fan isn't going to really care too much about these kind of things. But me, I'm a little saddened by the lack of the atmosphere and the mood you can create with the bass guitar. I think are monstrous, and it's just so far in the record it's lost. I also am kind of begging for some more clean passages just to really kick that I don't know the right word, kick that variation up just a notch. And I think, in all honesty, in my brain, I'm saying to myself, man, people are scared to do that now because they don't want to be pegged as Opeth clones. You know what I mean? Don't go clean. Don't use a clean tone. We can't have a clean passage because people will just think we're Opeth, and I think that's nuts. So the clean tone and the bass thing, I really wish there was a bass, and I also am curious if there's a really big opportunity for good keyboard usage in here. I'm not talking about like, you know, John Lord Deep Purple keyboard kind of thing. But anyway, yeah. We'll get on to the next track and more good and bad stuff from Jason Aaron Wood. This is Soundcheck coming to you from OKC. It's the Moose.
Text in your request to the Soundcheck Taco line 424-666-7356. in Moose Rocks, Colorado.
It's been 100% my pleasure to do this, and I'm glad that one of the things I really like about doing the Soundcheck shows is I get the opportunity to listen to an entire package as opposed to one song. Sometimes it's unfair. The Soundcheck show, I only get to rate a band basically on one song, and sometimes that's not fair because we all know that there's albums full of great songs and bad songs together. That just is how it works. But this has been my pleasure. This takes me back to listening to the Futile release by Rapture. Also, like I said, I just can't get over how much of all of the bands that I dig that are in this vein, that Jason has kind of thrown all the puzzle pieces together into making this a recording that's worth remembering, a recording that's worth going back and listening to. And I do have my production issues with it, but they are so outweighed by the positive of the record. It is, and you just don't get this kind of stuff very often. It just doesn't happen. And now, listen, here's the deal. There are a lot of people that try to do this, and sometimes they bleed over into the emo version, or they bleed into that vampire gothy kind of blah, you know. I don't really like the vampire goth and the emo-ish kind of thing. It depends, but I mean, most of the time, this isn't a record where you feel like somebody's, you know, crying about their troubles. This is like, you feel like you're sitting in a bar across from a friend who's about to slit their damn wrist, and you're drinking bourbon with them, and you're joining in that sorrow. That is you're at the end of the rope with somebody, and that's an awesome, to be able to paint that emotion in music is a great thing. I even hearken this back to the first time that I heard Nile. And here's the reason why. The first time I heard Nile, I saw them open up for Morbid Angel. And as soon as I got done, I said, there's the new Kings right there. And I think that this Jason Aaron Wood is going to be a king in this genre. If he keeps putting out things like this with the quality that this is, it's over, man. It's over. I'm honored. Honor all mine.
This is Izzy Devious and Lieutenant Colonel Lee from Accidental President in Sydney, Australia.
G'day to all you listeners at Metal Moose Radio.
Agitators and flag bearers.
Stay brutal.
Hey, rock fans, this is T. Singh,
Matt Vogt, Rob Pace,
and Joe Sanchez, and we're from
Drama Queen.
You're listening to the Metal Moose Radio Show where Oklahoma rocks.
I think that I was not paying attention so much prior to the use of the keyboards. I'm sure there have been keyboards in the cuts before this, but that was exactly what I was talking about. There was such an opportunity for a good keyboard layer to add warmth and also add some texture. This is really texture-filled music, and I think that is what I've always called gray music. And that's what it is. It's about texture. You know, when you listen to "Talk Dirty to Me" by Poison, you know it is one-dimensional. When you listen to, you know, whatever, my point being is that there's a lot of crevices and valleys and places to go in this kind of music. It's not just a single emotion. It's not just a single, you know, slap in the face. It is like, I just got kicked. You know, my head just got turned around. And I think somebody just gave me a hug. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff going on in there. And that keyboard, that tune especially kind of gave it that grand, you know, that was like almost a worship kind of a tune, which is cool. I mean, when you can have that kind of a grandiose feeling in a somber song, which is, you know, an interesting, however you want to put it. But I mean, when you have a sorrow worship, you know what I mean? Maybe that should be the next album title there, Jason. You're welcome. Really, 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 really good stuff. I'm stunned in the studio. Hey, it's time to wake up. It's been a long time since I've just sat back at a release and went, wow, damn. Because I'm telling you right now, this sounds like music that should be on a major label. It sounds like music that the best compliment I can give this, and because I can use Catatonia and Opeth as an example, this sounds like something my friend Brad Smith would have brought to me and said, you're going to love this, which is what he did with Catatonia and Opeth. You should check these out. Of course, that was way, way back, you know, Jehovah Eli Meth era. So yeah, man, this is outstanding, and I'm, once again, I'm honored to do this. It's a stunned moose in Oklahoma City, which is, there are no moose in Oklahoma City, so that's a headline in itself. Another instrumental, stoked. Here we go. Kick it.
You're listening to the Metal Moose. The Moose Rocks Canada.
Now, one of the big things about doing this, and this is kind of where I get a little wish-washy. The people who do these Soundcheked shows, they pay me $20 to make this podcast for them. And I need everybody to understand that that doesn't mean a damn thing to me. The reason that they pay me $20 is because I spend a good amount of time listening to it, putting it together, and publishing it, and all of that stuff. So it's just kind of a time deal for me. It's not about making money. It's about filling in the hole of the money I could be making, if that makes any sense. But I don't care. I'm going to tell you when something's awful. That's just how I'm not really interested. Now, if you want to pay me $500, I'll tell you how great your record is all day long. I mean, I ain't too proud to beg, you know what I'm saying? But when I do these, the things that I say, the things that I point out, I'm serious about. And there's been so many times, most every time I do this, I say to myself, I would have loved to have been there in the studio when this was recorded, because I feel like I could have given input. And I would have given Jason the same input that I gave him here. Man, let's make use of a bass guitar. Let's make use of a clean tone. Let's make sure there's some good, beautiful filtered keyboards in there to buffer out the silence. Let's do a clean passage. You know, I would have done those kind of things. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'll just tell you right now, I should have paid him to do this. This is really... listen, man, there's a lot of music out there. Music's been going on for a long, long time. This is a special moment in music to me. It is that damn good. Like Wacoon, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of them, or those bands on Hypnotic Dirge that do a lot of music like this. This is right up there, if not surpassing all of that, man. It's just impressive. And there's a little bit of hope in my brain and in my heart that this is a small person in a larger group of people who want to make music that counts, who want to put emotion into music. I mean, there's plenty of emotion in I Come Blood. You know what I mean? We're all fans of that one. Cannibal Corpse, you know, how do you get it? But this is a different kind of emotion. There's the struggle. It also has, that's another thing about it, is that there are occasions in this music, it almost has that Birdsum kind of desperation. And also, I know it's a weird parallel, but We're Ordained from Nevermore. There's so much desperation in the vocal that it's just impressive to me. I'm like, I would just break down in tears trying to make this record. But, I need some drink right now. Really, really good. So here's the last cut. Jason Aaron Wood. Dig on it, man. I know I am.
You are listening to the Metal Moose. are listening to the Metal Moose.
So, I mean, it's pretty much a love fest, to be honest with you. This is an incredible, incredible record. Like I said, I'm going to go through all the bad stuff real quick. There's some production value issues it's a little overproduced. It's a little too red line for me. I think some of the playing could be a little bit more crisp, but I mean, damn, really, are you going to complain about that? We've talked about the bass and the keyboards and the vocals and those kind of things. As a whole package, it's 5 damn tacos. 5 tacos. It is impressive. This is the biggest compliment that I could give to somebody who wanted me to listen to the record, and that is that I could hand this to somebody else after listening to 3 of the songs and saying to them, "You're going to like that." I have no idea what the last 5 songs sound like. They could be absolute garbage, but I have enough faith in what I heard out of the first couple cuts to say to somebody, this is a quality release. It's something you need to listen to. And that doesn't happen a lot. It doesn't, man. I listen to a lot of bands. Every week I do this, and I play like 15 bands. And you might get 1 or 2 per show that I say to myself, I'll go back and listen to that again. Because it's just too much. The volume is too heavy on my shoulders to try to listen to everybody that much. But also, it just doesn't happen that often when I hear something that I go, holy hell, that's amazing. But this is amazing. And I would listen to it again and again and again, and I will, because I've already contacted Jason and said, listen, man, I love your record. I really like it. I need a physical copy, please. And as soon as he gets those physical copies out, I'm going to buy 2. Yeah, 1 just to put away for prosperity. The other one to listen to over and over and over again. Yeah, man, I couldn't be more happy with what I've heard today. It's been my pleasure. I hope that this ends up, I hope this is something that he can put back in his, musical, whatever, reviews or clips or stuff like that. So it's something I hope that he holds on to and appreciates as much as I appreciated his music. It's a big deal. It's an awesome record. Go find him on Facebook, on SoundCloud, on Reverb Nation, wherever you can find this guy's music. Find it and support it and buy his CDs and buy his t-shirts and buy his guitar picks and all of that stuff. Whatever it is, make sure you support it, because this is a very, very, very good record that deserves to be listened to, deserves to be appreciated. This has been Soundcheck with Jason Aaron Wood from the Moose Pit in OKC. We'll see you next time on Soundcheck. Make sure and find us on iTunes. See you next time. Until then, take care.
All rights to the music heard on the Metal Moose are reserved by the authors, their labels, or authorized representatives that permitted their material to be used. The Metal Moose holds no rights to any music played on the show. Go to themetalmoose.com to submit your music to be heard on the show. The Metal Moose accepts donations of money, Cheetos, bacon, and naked pictures. Thank you for tuning in and subscribe on iTunes. Rock out while you rack out, and consider yourself moosed.